Hey there, my name is Ethan Zare, and I am pitching a sitcom based off of the lives of my friends and I as a repressed, gay young adult and aspiring actor who has a crush on his best friend. Okay, now that the intro's out of the way, which took like a million takes, this is sort of a freestyle thing I'm explaining to you. This series is called And They Were Roommates, and it's about Charlie McCormick, who lives with three friends. Evan Hunt, who's his best friend and a jock. He's been his best friend forever. Charlie's childhood neighbor, Jessica Moore. She's kind of slower. She's naive. And then Evan's evil ex, who's a diva, and she's a very rich girl. She's blonde. Ashley Lowe. She only lives with the three of them because Ashley and Evan were going to get an apartment together, and Evan dragged along Charlie because they're best friends, and Evan's kind of oblivious to the fantasies that are going on about him. And Charlie has a crush on Evan, but he can't let Evan know that because it might ruin their friendship. And so he brought along Jess as well. And so all four of them were living in there, and almost immediately after they moved in, Evan and Ashley broke up. So now there's four people living in a 3-bedroom apartment, and they have to find ways to make it work. For a while, Ashley and Evan share a bedroom, but they don't share a bed. But Ashley cannot stand Evan. I mean, obviously they're exes, so that's one thing. But the other thing is that he leaves his stuff all over the floor. He doesn't wash his clothes. They're just everywhere. And she's so particular. She never wears a different outfit every single day. And so she has to kick him out of her room. And Jess makes the incredible decision in the pilot to have Evan share a bedroom with Charlie. But there's only one bed in the bedroom. See, Ashley had a couch. She had a sofa in her bedroom because of course she does, because she has the biggest bedroom. Charlie doesn't have that. So Charlie and Evan have to share his small bed. This starts the fuel, I guess. But he's already had a crush on Evan, and Jess knows it. Jess is the only one that knows that Charlie has a crush on Evan. Yeah. So that's a basic rundown of the series. The whole series is a will they, won't they style thing. I wanted to have cozy, nostalgic sitcom vibes with warm colors, and I watched a lot of the Mary Tyler Moore Show. A lot of people have compared it to Friends or Seinfeld. The color scheme of the Mary Tyler Moore Show and the walls of the family room in the Brady Bunch, they have that wood paneling walls. In the thing that we filmed, you'll see that I have that wood paneling, which is just directly inspired off of that. And Charlie's last name is Charlie McCormick, is inspired by Maureen McCormick, who plays Marsha Brady. But a little rundown on this series. This series is inspired off of my actual real life and the lives of my friends. But it'd be a lie to say that it is completely like a retelling of my life, because it doesn't. And most comedic shows that are inspired by true events, obviously it has to work as a TV show. I've had tons of friends in my life that have went and gone. And ever since I was in 7th grade, I started working on this. Every time my friends and I would have a funny interaction or something funny would happen or anything, I would write it down, and I was able to apply it to these 4 characters. The main guy, the straight man, as they say, even though, who's me. And then we have the jock, the dumb one, and the diva. And I was just able to apply this to everything. It became super, easy, and as sort of these 4 archetypes became these lovable characters that I'm just in love with, and people have filled in the roles that I've created. At first, a lot of it was made up, but people started filling in those roles and stuff started actually happening. Some of those people are gone, but see, people just come in and fill those roles and different stuff. So I've had tons of friends over the course of 7th grade to now. Now I'm in college. I'm a sophomore in college. So I haven't had like a group of 4 friends my entire life, and neither has Charlie. Like, Ashley hasn't even been his friend for very long, and she isn't really his friend. She's just kind of loosely connected. But when you're creating a TV show, you need to have a recurring small cast of lead characters that will appear in every episode. And we have the 4 characters: Charlie, Evan, Jess, and Ashley. And so these are just like an amalgamation of all my friends throughout the years. So yeah. Every other year, it felt like, or actually pretty much every year, I tried to make it a thing. I tried to film a pilot. Every single time summer came around, I tried to film a pilot, but then it ended up not working out every single time. But I got into a relationship with someone who, and now we're now that's over. But for a while, he was essentially what Evan was. And during that relationship, I had gone through a lot of relationship troubles in that. And so I was going to write into the script stuff about internalized homophobia and different stuff. But after this breakup, I realized that I don't want to really do that. I think there will be episodes, obviously, that'll focus on the social, you know, whatever. I think I don't want to do that. Charlie doesn't want to tell Evan that he has a crush on him, not because that would be gay. He doesn't want to tell him because they've been best friends forever. It could easily be applied to anyone. It doesn't matter that they're both guys. That's not the point. The point is that that's his best friend. It just happens to be that they're guys. To the best of my ability, even though this is literally like not actually how the world works, I want this to be a comfort show. And so to the best of my ability, I'm going to put like actual struggles in there, but the struggle of like being gay is being different, I don't want to do that. I was told that there should be a few episodes that do address it, and obviously I will. But for the most part, I want this to be a natural thing, an understood thing, and everyone sort of treats it like it's normal. I have always written characters in a way, because this is how I feel personally, that they could date any which character as long as they're in the same age range. So I don't know. That's just how I feel about that. So that's what I'm gonna do in the series. It's just gonna be natural. None of the characters are ever gonna say, "That's weird, what the hell are you doing?" or something like that. And even though people have said that to me before, like, this is supposed to be a comfort show, and I want people to watch this and feel comforted that they can relate to a character and see that it's not wrong, and that there's no characters that are telling them that it's wrong, because it isn't, right? And so I want to be that, and I know I'm going to get backlash for that. If the series were to be made, I would get backlash for the lead character being gay, but I am. It's based off of my life, so it's like, anyways, the whole point of the show is not just Charlie's crush on Evan. It's the friendship of these four people, and Ashley slowly grows to become friends with these people because she lives with them. And I'm saying this without any major spoilers. All the different hijinks that these characters go through, Charlie's crush on Evan is this overarching story laced on top of the episodes, but the main core of the story is this friendship that they all have, and the friendship of the other recurring characters that I will introduce to you. They're all very fun and exciting. I love all of them, but there's some that I really, really love. Some of them have existed way longer than the others, and that's part of the reason why I love them. If you're wondering what it feels like to discover you like guys, it's like having a crush on... like if you have a random crush on a girl, you just have a random crush on a guy. It's the exact same thing. Like, you see this person, you're like, oh, they're attractive. And then later you think, wait a minute. But at the moment you don't think about it. You're just like, oh, this person's attractive. So a program of professional writers reached out to me and asked me to be a part of the program, and they're helping me fix up the script to be pitch ready and to help me pitch it to people. And they helped me create a series Bible, a pitch deck, all that fun stuff. We had a table read of the proof of concept film, which is the first scene of the pilot. It's only like 6 minutes long. And a few weeks ago, we filmed the proof of concept that is going to be out for you to see eventually. I'll put a clip of it right here. Jess, how do I look?
So I saw Evan this morning.
And does live here.
Well, are you gonna ask him?
What?
Are you going to ask Evan to be your boyfriend?
Jess! I mean, he's the kind of person just sit around waiting for me to slip up. This is ridiculous. I'm not asking him. Not now. Or ever. Jess, Evan will never hear what I told you.
Okay, I don't feel like extorting my good image, okay? Now beat it.
No, wait. Hang on.
Hey, Evan.
What was that all about?
Troy, he wants me to model for him so he can sell milk with my face on it. I mean, seriously, what kind of person would want to drink my milk?
Yeah. So I created a set outside of my house. There's a small stage outside of my house, and I built a set on that. And then I filmed it. And I had someone help me do all the lights and camera stuff. And we actually had 4 cameras, which I thought we were going to have to imitate the multicam setup with my one camera, but that would have taken forever. But we actually had 4 cameras. And since I built that set for just this proof of concept that wasn't even a pilot, it's not a full pilot. The full pilot would be filmed if someone actually picked it up to do a pilot. The proof of concept isn't very long, and I'm like, I'm not going to waste this stage. And so we had 3 days where we filmed a bunch of different promotional scenes that I'm going to put on YouTube that shows you the different characters as they spend time in the living room of their apartment. I dug up the document that I wrote all these funny different conversations that I mentioned earlier that I would have, and it's pages and pages and pages long of all these ideas for scenes to happen in episodes. And so I just structured them so that I could make these all little skits to release. Most of them feature all 4 main characters. Some of them feature extra characters that you will meet. I've been kind of rambling on, just non-stop rambling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the pitch deck just to get you introduced to the characters. Completely spoiler free. I don't want to spoil you for anything. I want you to discover all this as you watch it, but I want to give you stuff to look forward to, right? I want you to know what you're gonna watch. A college boy develops a crush on his best friend while sharing a Pismo Beach apartment with him and 2 girls. The location of this sitcom takes place in Pismo Beach, California, which is a suggestion that my friend gave me because I was asking, what's a good beach town kind of vibe in California somewhere? Because he lived in California. And he said, Pismo Beach. I looked it up. It's perfect. It's so aesthetically pleasing. I technically grew up in Albany, Oregon, but I made the change because it just isn't, it isn't as aesthetically pleasing. The only problem is I frequently write snow into my scripts for scenes that take place during Christmas. And it hasn't snowed in Pismo Beach in quite the long time. So it is fictional, and they could literally just go somewhere else for the snow. So it's not that big of a deal.
That's snow! No, White Christmas in Miami? Can you beat that?
You're already in the friend zone. Where do you go from here? When Charlie McCormick moves into an apartment with his longtime best friend, Evan Hunt, his childhood neighbor, Jessica Moore, and Evan's girlfriend, Ashley Lowe, he quickly starts to realize that his years-old crush on Evan is starting to get a little too real. Charlie just wants to have fun with his friends during his few years of young adulthood, and losing his best friend would ruin it all. Quickly after moving, Ashley and Evan break up. It's inconvenient for Ashley, but Jess thinks this is the golden opportunity for Charlie to make a move. Charlie wants to keep it hidden for now, but as he gets into increasingly awkward situations with Evan, he may accidentally let it slip. If Charlie were to tell him, would Evan like him back? Is it really worth the risk? So as you can see, Charlie's in an awkward situation. His best friend just broke up with his girlfriend that they still have to live with, and he doesn't want to tell him. Luckily, or not luckily, depending on how Charlie feels about it that particular day, Evan is almost constantly in relationships off and on that last at tops 2 weeks. And Charlie just starts to feel degraded as he sees all these relationships that he wants to be in. He wants to be in a relationship with Evan, but Evan has no idea how Charlie feels. And Jess keeps saying, come on, Charlie, you gotta tell him. You just can't complain. But if there's one thing Charlie knows how to do, it's complain and overthink everything. Charlie is a big overthinker. Shout out to some of the many friends that appear in that slide. In the promotional material and the proof of concept, the cast consists of myself, Ethan Zare playing Charlie, Cade Warner playing Evan, Mila Griebel playing Jess, and Mercy Cornwell playing Ashley. So, why don't we get to know the characters a little bit? This is Charlie. Charlie's the middle child of 3 siblings and the focus of the series. Based on my own life, he's essentially a fictionalized version of myself. He always wanted to be an actor, a filmmaker of sorts, and usually tries to drag his friends into his projects. When he's having a panic attack, Evan seems to be the only one who can actually calm him down. But with Evan always out with a different girlfriend, Charlie's just gonna have to learn to deal with it. Tall, thin, socially awkward, hair that is completely uncontrollable, and beaming with anxiety, he's constantly overthinking things in his mind, which usually comes out as a frantic inner monologue. It's no wonder he has trouble with girls. Either that or the huge crush he has on his best friend Evan, who he's known for too long to take a chance with. Unless And the unless is what drives the show forward. This is Evan Hunt. You might wonder why he's kissing at the side. There's context. You have to see the set of the show to understand. If Charlie is the picture of imperfection, then Evan is the picture of perfection. Although he doesn't realize it, everything seems to go his way whether he tries or not. No matter what Charlie tries to do, Evan seems to do it better. But that has never stopped Evan from trying to teach Charlie to master all of his favorite things. While Charlie has a loving family, Evan, not so much. His parents were more than happy to kick him out, and his little brother didn't care much for him either. Evan is constantly going in and out of relationships with different people. This could be a sign that he likes playing the field, but Evan starts to realize that he's only truly happy when he's with one particular person, a person he just can't quite be with. Who is that person, you may ask? I don't know. I don't know. He doesn't even know. One of the things that is going to be important in the first season is that we don't know what Evan is thinking. We know exactly what Charlie's thinking because he's the main character, and you hear his inner monologue a lot because he's freaking out a lot. We never really hear into Evan's mind. It's very rare that we do. And this is to add a sort of mystery to his character. We don't know if Charlie really has a chance or not with Evan. At the end of the first season, we would finally hear into Evan's mind. And that's all I can say. That's all I can say for that. This is Jessica Moore, otherwise known as Jess. Short, sporty, and totally clueless, Jess was Charlie's neighbor growing up. She always used to climb trees, but she must have fallen out of one and hit her head. She's extremely positive and usually full of energy. But she isn't the brightest, tending to do whatever anyone tells her, especially her roommate Ashley. To the best of his ability, Charlie tries to make sure no one hurts her. But since they've grown up together, they have a sort of sibling relationship going on, and so they're constantly bickering over things. Once she finds out about Charlie's crush, she is his #1 supporter and conspirator to get the two boys together. However, with all the work she's doing for Charlie, she's going to feel pretty disappointed if he ditches her to hyperfixate on everything else. This is Ashley Lowe. Ashley is spoiled, rich, beautiful, and she knows it. Her occasionally single father is renting the apartment for her, which she originally planned to share with Evan. But Evan drags along Charlie, and Charlie drags along Jess, and so now there's 4 people living in this apartment. She planned to share this apartment with them while they were dating, but after the two broke up, she decides to have them work to make their keep. A diva at heart, she's always wearing the most glamorous outfits and dramatically drifting around. Any problem to her seems like the end of the world, causing her to cry like a Disney princess. She loves pink and makes it her palette for most of her outfits in her room. She's an extremely picky girl, not choosing to date just anyone, but when she's in love, she's in love. She has a strong distaste for Evan after the breakup, but if you were to ask her out again, she might just reconsider. However, it's not just those main 4 characters that exist in the series. One of the most wonderful things about this series is the characters, and there's tons of them. There's tons of characters that come and go in the series. Some are more recurring than others. One of them is one of my favorite characters ever, Brittany Shields. Brittany has always been Ashley's best friend and her worst enemy. Constantly at war with Ashley, she wants everything she has and simultaneously tries to make Ashley as miserable as possible. She even moves into the same apartment building to make sure of it. If Ashley has a heart, Brittany most definitely does not. She's willing to use anyone and anything to her advantage. She has the idea that everyone is obsessed with her and therefore she deserves it. However, if her and Ashley have a common goal, they'll definitely team up. Not without a fight or two, of course. Ashley spends most of her time outside of the house, and she spends a lot of time with Brittany on the beach or in Brittany's room or in Ashley's room, and they'll complain to each other and make fun of each other, and they hate each other's guts, but they're best friends. One of Ashley's lines in the pilot is actually, Brittany had 3 pools growing up, and I only had 2. What else was I supposed to do? Peg Freeman is Brittany's roommate and essentially servant. Peg is an ever-loyal friend, either that or she's just too afraid to stand up to Brittany. Having to occasionally carry around a chair for Brittany to sit in like a queen, she tries to mediate the arguments between Ashley and Brittany. This usually does not go in her favor. She might just find solace in Jess, as the two are the most used by their roommates. Someone just has to make the first step. Could this be setting up something? I don't know. Now, more of my favorite characters are Charlie's family. The McCormick family, starting with his older sister, who is a lot based off of my actual older sister, Amanda McCormick. Amanda is Charlie's older sister. Despite that, she still chooses to live at home, sitting in her robe all day. When she feels like putting enough effort into her day to visit Charlie, or just get away from her mom, she makes sure to drag her little sister along with her. Despite their classic sibling quarrels, Amanda really does care for her two younger siblings and wants the best for them. That won't stop her from being annoyed about it. Another one of my favorite characters, Allie! Allison McCormick, otherwise known as Allie, is Charlie's younger sister and the youngest child of the McCormick family. There's only 3 siblings. Despite her age, she really wants to take care of herself. She can't stand any of her siblings, or honestly anybody, and makes sure everyone knows it. Constantly speaking without thinking first, she's a little monster who seems to always get her siblings into trouble. But she's just a kid. By a kid, I mean she's 13. I actually didn't have a younger sister, but I did have younger cousins, and I've been younger. So a lot of the stuff that happens with Allie is more of a reflection of what happened to me when I was younger. But since we can't go back in time with Charlie, except for like flashbacks or whatever, if we're staying in the present, Allie is the personification of all the funny things that I've seen happen or have happened to me or my friends, but can't be applied to adults. So you apply it to 13-year-old Allie. And Amanda is 21. She's actually always been 21. And Charlie, his age has fluctuated as I've been writing it, because originally they didn't all live together. It was Charlie's house was the main location, and he lived with his family because he was still in high school, but Evan gets kicked out of his house and he has to live with Charlie. Charlie was originally 16. Even when I was 13, he was 16. And then eventually I turned 16, so he moved up to 17, then 18, and now he's 19. But Amanda has perpetually been 21 the entire time. I never changed her age. And I think I could age her up, but I'm just so comfortable with her being 21 that I don't really think I need to. The parents. I almost forgot about Charlie's parents. Charlie's parents are Natalie McCormick and Dan McCormick. Dan McCormick doesn't have an extremely vibrant personality, but he's just the dad. He does care about his kids though. Natalie McCormick is a helicopter parent. She really likes Evan, and she hates Ashley. She doesn't think Charlie should be friends with Ashley, but she's always liked Evan, and she always likes having Evan over to her house. She'll call Charlie or Amanda and go on long rants, much to their dismay. Another one of my favorite characters that I keep forgetting to write plot for, but recently I've written a lot more plot for him. Jose is a tenant at the apartment complex. He's a player, he's attractive, he's suave, and he can definitely understand Charlie's crush on Evan, but he's a lot more bold than Charlie, so he might just steal his chance. A few more characters. There's 2 other roommates who live in the apartment complex, but they have their own apartment, but they are roommates with each other. Luke Zeiker and Brett Anderson. Luke Zeiker is this cool guy that plays the guitar. Charlie starts to grow a little crush on him. He becomes friends with Charlie. Brett is Luke's roommate. Brett Anderson is this big southern guy. He is a cowboy. He starts dating Ashley at some point. He wears a cowboy hat, big boots, big belt buckle. His family is all very, very southern, and Ashley finds this extremely annoying. The recurring theme is that no matter who Ashley's with, she gets annoyed with them real quick. Emily Campbell is this pretty blonde girl who goes to the movie theater and meets Charlie. She is a really nice person, and she has this sort of soft quality to her. Swig Bradley is a frat bro. He's extremely stupid, and he's friends with Evan. And he tries to do the right thing, but he's just not all that intelligent. So he doesn't always do the right thing, but he tries. Noah can stand him except for his close friends, and everyone's like, wow, he's so annoying. Why are you friends with him? And it's like, well, he's kind of sweet. Another recurring character is Troy O'Brien. Troy is this nerdy, annoying neighbor that lives right above the main cast in the apartment complex. He has a know-it-all personality and no one can stand him. He's constantly barging into their apartment despite the roommate's effort to keep him out. It seems the only person he will listen to is his domineering mother. Troy is deathly afraid of dogs, which might seem random, but Troy is inspired off of an actual person that I know. So, and that person is afraid of dogs. To no one's surprise though, the dogs are also afraid of him. Troy has 2 parents, Marcia O'Brien and Carl O'Brien. Marcia is this redheaded woman who is extremely loud. She's constantly yelling. And Carl is this meek shell of a man who is constantly in fear for his life. Troy seems to be pretty oblivious to the toxic relationship of his parents. He just kind of is stone cold stoic all the time. He doesn't make all that many facial expressions. And another recurring character is Patty. Patty Shoemaker, the landlord. She runs the apartment complex, and she micromanages everybody's lives. Any bit of control she can take, she will. And any choice she doesn't make, she will judge. No exceptions. With her sickeningly sweet personality, she's sure to put the roommates through some difficult situations. She likes there to be a thematic flow in the grungy, outdated apartment building that they live in. Two more characters are Trevor and Tanya. Trevor is a recurring boyfriend of Ashley's. It's actually her first recurring boyfriend that we see. And Tanya is a recurring girlfriend of Evan. Now, the reason I lump them together when I'm explaining this to you is because every time I would write a script based off of something that actually happened to me, and it involved a boyfriend or a girlfriend of someone, I would just name Evan's girlfriend Tanya and Ashley's boyfriend Trevor. No matter what the situation was, it was always Trevor and Tanya that the characters referred to as their relationship, no matter when in the timeline this was supposed to take place. I also do this in the promotional stuff because Ashley will meet Trevor in the timeline of the episodes, but in this promotional stuff, they already mentioned Trevor. See, they also both start with a T, and they both have 2-syllable names. So I'm thinking of like Sunset's Beach when I think of these characters. Trevor's just smiling constantly. He's such a happy person, and he's perfect. But Ashley can't stand him because of that. She needs to find a reason to break up with him, but she can't. He's just perfect. And Tanya is what people would think would be the perfect girlfriend for the dumb jock, because she has that kind of cheerleader personality. Both of these relationships are sort of like their perfect other, but they can't really stand them. Which makes it funny, I guess. I don't know. The series is meant to replicate the feel of a classic sitcom. It screams comfort show and cozy time. The sets, costumes, and dialogue is meant to show real situations through the lens of a comfy show. The set and lighting will use warm colors to bring that comfy vintage feel to the series, and will be filmed like a classic sitcom. It will also be shot like a classic sitcom, performed on a stage with a multicam setup and a live studio audience to get genuine reactions. Each scene will have at least 3 cameras, one for the wide shot, one for the close-up of the character speaking, one for the close-up of the character reacting. So, without spoiling anything, that's pretty much all I can tell you right now. The pilot is about Charlie and Ashley going to audition for a local theater production right outside of Pismo Beach, and Evan drives them. Also, in the beginning of the episode, Jess suggests that Evan sleeps with Charlie, and Evan agrees, to Charlie's dismay. While at the audition, Evan is convinced by the director and peer pressured by the rest of the auditioners to audition for a part in the play, even though he's never acted in his life. Unfortunately, this just reinstills that everything Charlie is known for or thinks he's good at, Evan seems to do better. But he also has a crush on him, and he has to share a bed with him now. At the audition, Ashley also runs into Brittany and Peg. I think everything else I want to be a surprise. So, if you made it this far, holy crap, I can't believe you did. Because that's insane. But thank you for listening to my idea. I will release the proof of concept short eventually, and then I'll release all the other little short skits for you to see and get used to the characters and get to know them. I really hope that you fall in love with the series as much as I've fallen in love with it making it. It means so much to me, and I really want to see this series happen in any capacity possible. I really hope that you'll support me and support us. Support, I can't hold all these up. Support all of us as we make it. Here's Betty White. I started coming up with this idea before Betty White died, and I was like, if I ever made a sitcom, I would love Betty White to cameo as my grandmother. But now she's dead. So now she's playing my dead grandmother. Here she is. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that you stayed and listened to my idea. This is going to be hell to edit through, I know already. But I still have to finish editing through the proof of concept. If you have any connections out there, just know that this is sitting and waiting. So thank you, and I really, really hope to bring And They Were Roommates to you very soon. So until then, I'll see you later.
I have tolerated having you two in my neighborhood doing God knows what in that house, but I will not have you disrupting the thematic flow of this street.
Why don't you shove your thematic flow
Hey
up your...
there!
Sweet and lovely lady, be good. Oh, lady, be good to me.
These fucking idiots keep putting down green. Where was green this entire game? I don't have any green. I didn't work my ass off learning all those carbon.
I know it's awfully lonely in the city. It's easy to have self-pity, but we're all lonesome babes in the woods. So won't you be good to me? Oh, ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da.